Happy Mad Hatter Day! I couldn't wait to show you guys this card. I whipped it up yesterday, and honestly, I always make, whenever I make anything Alice in Wonderland, it makes me think of my little sister because she loves Alice in Wonderland, especially the Mad Hatter. And I'll have to share some pictures eventually of the two of us. I think I have a picture of us with the Mad Hatter anyway, or at least a picture of her. And so I wanted to make a card for the Mad Hatter for Happy on Birthday. Happy Merry on Birthday, or very merry happy. I don't know the words of the song. Like, anyway, so I made this like little hippy dippy trippy fun little card with little Mad Hatter inspired, as you know. I always make Disney inspired crafts, and so this one is my Disney inspired one. My ears today are Haunted Mansion ears that I got these, I think, directly from the Disney store, because when I saw the like safety pin, I don't know, I just couldn't, I guess the childhood, you know, remember when they used to peg their pants with the safety pins? Like, I never did that because I wasn't a skater, but you know, all the cool kids did it, and my parents would have never let me do it. They were like, I don't know, they were pretty uptight about certain things, but so anyway, so these are my little Madame Leota Haunted Mansion ears that I got from the Disney store website. And I don't have any Alice ears, so I'll have to make some, I think. I think that's my next mission, is to make Alice ears. I'll think of something and ask my sister and be like, okay, here's the ears I'm making, and then I'll make a double pair for her. So, all right, well, I can't wait to show you our new craft. All right. Hey guys, I wanted to show you our little Alice in Wonderland Happy on Birthday Mad Hatter card, because it's Mad Hatter Day. So anyway, I just had to get a card in for you guys. I'm using, this is called the Full of Life Designer Series paper. It's on clearance right now, so if you guys want to go pick it up, you should. It's, I think, just $3 or $4. I wasn't sure what paper I was going to use. I pulled out a couple different designs, but this one is the one that I wound up settling on because, hello, to me, it just looks very, you know, tie-dye, you know, it just looked very, very much, Alice in Wonderland. I just realized I hadn't cut my piece, so we'll cut it real quick. So I decided when I cut my paper, I wanted to keep as much of the greens and yellow as I could and get some of the pink off. I don't mind the pink. I don't think it looks bad because, again, it's Alice in Wonderland, which is full of color. So I went ahead and I just cut this at 3 3/4, because remember, this layer is 4 1/4 wide and 11 inches long total. And then it's scored at 5 1/2. So this lighter green piece is 4 inches by 5 1/4. Okay, so again, whenever you want to layer, I usually go down by 1/4 inch, because then you get a nice little layer on the edge of each piece. So that means my little designer series paper needs to be 3 3/4 by 5 inches. Now I went ahead and I think I just did a straight 5 inches like this. Yeah, I did. I was thinking I trimmed more off the top, but I didn't. I think to have a little more pink, or anyway. And so that's 5 inches, 3 3/4 by 5. I hope I didn't cut that wrong because I only have so many pieces. Yeah, usually I don't cut on camera because that's when I tend to make a mistake. But I also need to show you guys how to cut, so it's kind of appropriate. So let me put, sorry. All right, so I put all these other pieces together already. So we've got our layer that I was telling you about. So this is 4 inches by 5 1/4. And this is 4 1/4 by 11 inches. And it is scored at 5 1/2 so that it, you know, can fold in half. So then we're gonna get to our stamps in a second. By the way, this little case is a marker case that I got at the Dollar Tree. Oh, let me get my little tray so I don't lose this. I have my little I have a tray of little, I'll pull that out just to show you. And I need this, and I think I might need this to make the hat. And let's see, yeah, I think that's it. Okay. All right, perfect. So then the other thing I wanted to show you was this stamp set that I'm using is actually, it's a teapot stamp set, and the happy birthday comes from a different stamp set, but it comes from this kit called a Paper Pumpkin. You guys can, it's a subscription kit. And I do them every month, and it comes with its own ink, and this month was September, so this was last month's, and it came with 2 stamp sets, which is like really unusual that it came with 2, but it comes like a little gift, and it comes with 1 block on your very first order. And so it's pretty cool. So it comes with 1 block on your very first order, and now you have everything you need to make the cards inside. I haven't even opened this up because I just wanted to make the Mad Hatter one for now, but look at how pretty these cards are. Like, especially this is very country floral. This is definitely someone's style that they would like. I definitely can see myself making this and gifting this to a girlfriend, you know, a friend of mine, you know, from church or something, who gives out like thank you cards and, you know, just a note. And so just so pretty. So all 9 of these cards can be made from everything in this kit. Everything. You don't need anything else except for maybe scissors to cut the twine. That's it. Everything else is included in the kit like that. It all comes all like that in your first box. Now, every month there's a different kind, and I'm going to show you another one in another video that I found. I've just gotten a little inspired by a couple of these things. So I'm going to go ahead and set this aside. But I wanted to show you the Paper Pumpkin kit. You can go to FabulousStamper.com to sign up if you want. And you can't buy those kits unless you're actually signed up as a subscriber. So it's just one of those exclusive type deals. And the happy birthday that I used, this also came from one of these kits, but this one is from like, oh gosh, this one is from like 2000. I want to say it's like 2000. Let's see, it came in 2010. I want to say this is 2013 or something. This one is old. I've had this for ages. 10 years was like last year. Yeah, I want to say this is like maybe 2014 or maybe it was 2015. Anyway, it's really old. Anyway, it's really, really old. I absolutely loved it. I use these stamps sometimes more than I use the other stamps, you know, that I buy from the website. It just depends on what I'm doing, you know. I bought for a Harry Potter idea. These I use because they're perfect sentiments is what I find. And so this one didn't have a happy birthday sentiment. So I went to find one that I thought looked cool and I liked the font on this one. So I pulled this one out. So anyway, so that's enough yapping about Paper Pumpkin. You don't have to go and sign up if you don't want to. I just wanted to show you what it was. So then I went ahead and let me get the glue. I also have to show you guys my new like tool caddy. It's a little bit messy, so I'll clean it up a little before I show it off. My friend Lisa makes them, and I would love it if you went over to her Etsy shop and picked some up. So I think I'll do a separate video of just that so that it doesn't get lost. And it'll just be a quick little video. So yeah, so I'm just gonna glue this in. And nothing too fancy, nothing too crazy. But, you know, I mean, you know, Alice in Wonderland is all about color. It's all about like the whimsy. And so I just, for Mad Hatter Day, I came up with this. I kept going around and around about what kind of paper I was going to use. I had an idea of what I was going to use, and then it's funny how you wind up changing your mind. So this is the Shaded Spruce ribbon. And yeah, just Shaded Spruce ribbon. It doesn't say any particular type on there, just shaded spruce. Oh, satin sheer, my bad, satin sheer, because it has the little design. And so I cut a piece across, and when I do this, I always just take some tape, like legit Scotch tape. I mean, well, it doesn't have to be legitimate. This is from the Dollar Tree, but I just take Scotch tape. Oh wow, I cut a lot of ribbon. Normally I don't cut that much, but, and I just take little, ooh, I'm getting buck wild with my little, and I just take my Scotch tape to hold down my ribbon. And also it can be moved around because Scotch tape is, it'll tear the back of this paper, but no one's gonna see this paper. It'll tear the back of that paper maybe a little bit, but no one's gonna see this paper. Let me trim off this piece because it's just not needed. And I don't wanna use more tape to tape it down. So, all right. So we'll get all that down. Yeah, that looks good. And then we're just gonna glue this to our card base. This is shaded spruce card base, if you didn't know. And this little tool here is called a bone folder. Sometimes when your card is just opening up too much, you just need to crease your fold a little bit more, and the bone folder creases it without actually bending the paper or hurting the paper. It's just it's an old tool, you know, mine is plastic. It's not made of real bone, but it's an old tool that used to be made of bone at one point, way back, you know, just a paper crafting tool. And actually I think it was used for lots of different things, the bone folder, but it was definitely like an artisan type tool. Oh, I forgot to like check my ribbon's a little too high, but it'll be fine. I wanted my ribbon a little bit lower, but it's okay. We'll just keep it as is because I had already put the glue down. I'll just move it over a tiny bit to get a little more proportion. So this little label comes from the Stylish Shapes dies. It is the second square from the outside. So you've got the largest square and then you've got the next one down. That's the size of this square. And so you just use the stamp cutting machine to cut the shape. So then we've got a couple things to stamp. So I thought about using this pink teacup, but that really didn't fit because I need it to be, I just brought it out to show you guys because I thought, you know, that way you can see, like sometimes it's fun to try out. Oh, and this paper, this flower paper comes from this paper, which I think is no longer available, but it's called Bloom Impressions. You can use any yellow type paper you want, or you could find something else. You know, you don't have to use exactly the same stuff I use. Just find something you think is pretty. And I'm gonna stamp my little label, or not label, my teapot. So this is the teapot stamp that was missing from that set I was showing you earlier. And let me turn this right side up. There we go. And I'm gonna stamp my teapot and then I have to cut it out. Normally I do it the other way around, but okay. We only need the black one time, so. All right, so we'll go ahead and we'll stamp our teapot. I was gonna stamp it just on straight green or yellow, you know, but so much of the card already has all this color, so it didn't make sense to do something else. And so let's go ahead and we're just, now when you're cutting freehand, you always turn the paper, not the scissors. Okay, there's a little mess up there, but don't worry, we can always go back. You really just try and turn the paper more than you turn the scissors. Like this little piece here, I got a little bit of a border there, and so all I did was I started to clamp on, and then I turned the paper as it went. And so now we're going to cut down. It's a little fussy to try and get this little Mad Hatter situation going, but it's okay. Okay, now there's a little tiny divot there. I'll come back for that. And you see I'm just turning the paper. I'm doing it gently because I want to make sure my teapot stays, like the lines stay kind of clean. I don't want them to be too messy. It's not a big deal. I'm just just taking care. So then to get this little cutout is a little tricky because you kind of have to do, so I cut almost like a little V to get that little cutout, but now I have a little border here, and we'll just trim that up. Trim up this little bit here. Now to get inside the handle, you're gonna have to just do some little snipping. I actually just kind of snip a little. I'm sure I could use an X-Acto knife. I'm sure other people have other talents that they can tell you how to cut something like this out. I'm just doing how I've always done it. It's not the easiest. There we go. So I've got a chunk out, so that helps. Now I've got this nice little chunk out. And again, we're just gonna try our best to cut this. I think cutting the handle is probably the hardest. Okay. There we go. Now I've got like a good little control of it. So I should be able to cut most, oops, I almost got the handle there. It's like, it looks like a big comma. The English teacher in me. The English teacher in me thinks that's, well, actually it's not a comma, that's like an apostrophe. Good times. The English teacher in me never dies, you know. It lives on forever. So, well, right now I'm furloughed, so that's kind of a bummer, I'm not gonna lie. But I have faith that things will work out how they will, you know, like that's all we can do is just hold on to hope, you know, because, well, as my friend would say, my good friend Ryan, she's called Sparkle Heart Holistic. She does all these cool, like I'm very religious and she's not, but we're good friends. It's amazing how sometimes you can find, I think, you know, when your heart is open and your mind is open, you can find good friends, even if some things about your, you know, that are important in your life are very different, you know? And I thought, isn't that wild how she and I sometimes, you know, have the same wavelength. So we were talking, hold on, let me stamp this. So this happy and birthday were separate, and then I put them on the block together. Let me get it right in the corner. I put them on the block together to get a nice spacing. Now, sometimes you can't do that. Sometimes you have to do it separately, but if I can put them on the block together, I will, because it's a little hard to do two stamps together. And actually, I need to practice one other over here. Oh, I used the wrong color. I used Shaded Spruce, and I meant to use this is my scrap paper. I've been experimenting with some different cards for y'all. So let me try something. This is Shaded Spruce, so it's a little darker. This is the card base. And I want to see how Unbirthday looks with a different color. So my friend from Sparkle Heart Holistic, she was talking about how, like, you know, she always talks about like not giving energy to things that don't deserve it. And right now I'm not giving energy to Congress and their choices. because, you know, they don't really deserve it right now. You know, they'll work it out, and my job will be secure eventually, but it's just one of those things. It's just, I feel for all these people. Like, I'm a single household, so it's rough for me too, because I'm a single person. But I think, like, if I had kids and a family, that'd be really, I mean, it's hard for me even as a single person, but you know, not knowing how you're going to feed your kids, I think changes things too. I don't know, it just gives a different perspective. But I wanted to try out my markers. In the end, everything will work out. So I wanted to try out my 2 different markers. So this is crushed curry, which is what I used on the original one, which I kind of like. I kind of like the there, but I used a different color ink. I didn't use the darker ink. I used the lighter ink. I actually think that the Daffodil Delight, the lighter yellow, is better. I just wanted to try it out and see. I hadn't tried it with the lighter yellow, and it is definitely the one we're going to use today. So let me put the other one away so I don't mix it up. And so, yeah, so we're good there. All right, so let's do the unbirthday. The good news is things work out however they need to, and I will dedicate my energy to making pretty things for y'all and just doing things that bring me joy, you know? So that is what I'm gonna do. So we've got our little basic label, and we've got our little teapot, and then we need to make our little hat. Now this was a little bit tricky, I'm not gonna pretend. So for the hat, I just took my scissors and I freehanded it. I'm not gonna lie, I did freehand it. So I made, let me see, how long is it? Yeah, so I'll cut it about right here. Oh, and I think there was a scrap piece in here of the other color. Yeah, we needed just a scrap of that. Just a little scrap. So for my hat, this is just a trimmed off piece. This is a 1/4 inch wide. I'm pretty sure it's a 1/4 inch. I missed my metal ruler. I need to find one. Yeah, no, this is 1/2 inch. My bad. I was like, that's not a 1/4 inch. It can't be. So this is just 1/2 inch wide. And I'm gonna obviously like trim this bottom piece. I think it's a little too long. And then I need to trim it in. And then I'm gonna trim it in. Because you know his hat is funny. And then I wanna round it. Actually probably should have rounded the top before I did all that trimming, because it might be too small now. No, I think it's not too small. We've got a backup here if we need it. So. Okay, so I've been listening to Taylor Swift nonstop since it came out. I can't lie. I do love Taylor Swift. I can't pretend. I love her. I just think she's fun, and I just like her music. I think hype over her sometimes gets out of control, but all right, so I'm gonna go ahead, and I think that'll be enough. We'll wait and trim that in a minute. So then to make the oval part for the brim of his hat, I actually just took a I took this circle. Actually, I think this is the wrong size. No, it's a 3/4 inch. And I think I just trimmed this because I couldn't cut a full oval. So I just started trimming it into more of an oval. You know, it's just that the curves like started it. This is a 3/4 inch circle punch. And again, it's just freehanded, you know. You just try your best and it's gonna be fine. And, you know, it's just such a small piece of, it almost looks like a football. Yeah, I need to trim this side a little so it looks a little less like a football. There we go. And let's see if that looks just about right, actually. I think maybe just a little narrower, just a tiny bit. There we go. Just a tiny bit narrower. Okay, whoops, there's a cat hair, of course. That one looks like pumpkins. He sheds like crazy. My little pumpkin. Oh, I love my little pumpkin. I don't know if you saw him in the last video, but oh, my pumpkin. He is the sweetest thing. I found him in 2020. My neighbor called me outside and was like, hey, come outside. And I was already in my pajamas. It was like summer. I'm like, ugh. You know, I was like, I wasn't in bed, but I was like ready for bed, kind of, you know? Okay, I'm gonna leave a little bit of the glue dot. Okay, let me hold this up close so it can focus. So I'm gonna leave a tiny bit of the glue dot showing because I need to put the band that goes around the hat. Oops, it's not coming up. Oh, come on. Of course not. It's not gonna come up when I need it. Okay, maybe not. Okay, that's not gonna happen. So we're just gonna put, but do you see how the shape of the hat's like starting to come together? Okay. Then let me trim. Okay, that's, oh, I should have glued this on first because I want it to be the same width as an angle as the hat, but that did not happen. So we'll go ahead and we'll glue that right there. I think this needs to be moved up a little bit. Okay, I think I like that better. All right, so now let me get my glue. And I'm actually gonna take my tweezers because it's such a small piece of paper. I normally wouldn't use the tweezer. Oh, these are the wrong ones. Those are my janky ones. These are my better ones. And I'm just gonna put these. Let me put a little bit of glue on the edge of this. Yep. Yep. Let me get a little bit of glue on the edge. And we'll just place it down in the right spot. Yep. There we go. Done. So now we've got our little hat. And we're good with that. Okay, and I'm rhyming. And then, so then we've got our little label for our teapot. So I took, this is a 1/4 inch wide piece of white cardstock. And I scored it in the middle. I didn't measure it. It might actually be a little off based on what I'm looking at. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a piece of glue dot. Whenever you're looking at a scored piece, the bump is the inside. So you're gonna fold it where the worm is on the inside. And so I didn't even fold it perfectly, but that, I mean, it's okay because when you see what we're gonna do in a minute, we're making a little tea bag. So what we need is our twine. And we need some quick scissors. We're not going to even need this much twine, but it's a little easier than handling the whole roll. And then I'm going to put a glue dot. And hopefully this one won't fight me as hard as the other one did. Ah, perfect. Then we're just going to put one end of the string inside the glue dot. And we're just going to close this. This is our tea bag. And we're just going to close it. And we've got our string in the middle, so that's perfect. And then before I even write on it, I'm going to trim the little, you know how you trim, you know how the edges of the tea bag have like a little trim? You don't have to do that. I guess just, it might just be an American thing. But I always think about how the edges of the tea bag have that little notch out. Yeah, this, I need to go and make this more of a notch on this side. There we go. Oh, that one's a little bit more than the other. There we go. Good enough. Doesn't have to be perfect. So then, I need to get my little ladybug vacuum out. So then I'm gonna use my fine tip Sharpie. To be honest, this was the best way for me to get 10 and 6. This is the price. This is a price. Technically, this is, I think 10. Oh, it's not gonna write for me. Hold on, there we go. 10, 6. So that's 10 and 6 pence, I guess. I could be wrong because again, I'm not British, but I believe it's 10 and 6 pence. So there's our little tea bag. How cute is that? You probably can't even see down on the table how cute and tiny that is. So 10 and 6 pence, I think. And so this is technically, I think, the price of his hat, and he left it on. I haven't read the books, so the books would probably say better. Someone who's read the books will comment and tell me what's correct. I've never read the books, I've just seen the Disney movie. And it could be, no, he has it, I think, even in the illustrations for the book. I'm pretty sure it's also in the illustrations for the book. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to let it hang off. In the first one, I had it hanging off way in the front. I think I'm gonna let it hang off where the hat goes. So that's my plan, is to let it hang underneath where I'm gonna put the hat, because then it actually keeps it pressed down a little bit, but still lets it be 3D. Okay, does that make sense? So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna flip this over. I'm gonna take my dimensionals and pop some of those on, because those will hold it in place. I thought I had some, sorry. I've been watching this pin trading guy called WDW Kevin, Walt Disney World Kevin, basically. And he is always quoting The Devil Wears Prada. And he's like, why is no one ready? Like, I don't know, it just made me laugh. I don't know. Why is no one ready? Anyway, so, and then we'll go ahead and we'll snip off a little bit of, I'm just gonna snip off a couple little pieces here on the teapot spout. Just a little, I am a little hyper detailed about making sure my stuff doesn't, you know, fold when I mail it. And it's just my style. So like, look, I'm even putting another piece right here. And then I also need to trim off the excess of this. These are my paper scissors, not my ribbon scissors that I just used to cut. Ribbon scissors get special assignment. If anyone that has ever worked with fabric or sewing knows that, like, fabric scissors have a special place. They do not get used for paper because it dulls them very quickly. There's something about how when you keep certain scissors just for, this is too narrow to put any more dimensionals on here, or believe me, I would do it. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and pop my little teapot right on the center. So cute. I love the tea bag. That's my favorite part. And then we're gonna pop this right here, and see, it's just gonna hold it a little bit in place. And let me see, I might just glue it down here. Let's see. Because I don't want it to cover up the birthday. I do want to put a dimensional on the back here. So we'll put, oops, that is too big. Nope, that's a ribbon. Okay, that one is too big. So let's go ahead and put this little piece. Why is no one ready? Anyway. Oh, goodness. Yeah, like I told you in that one video, I've fallen down this pin trading like rabbit hole, which is cool and fun, but also, it's also, you know, like I tried to complete a set and now I can't, and, you know, mystery boxes, and it's one of those things that are, it's like, oh, but now I can't complete the set. It's interesting. Anyway, so you'll see that video later because I did another video of that too. Since I'm furloughed, I'm trying to just maximize my content for y'all. And I love teaching you guys, actually, to be honest. I really do. I love just teaching people how to make pretty things with paper. That's my most favorite thing. And I love it. I just can't get enough of it. So I love teaching people how to make things with paper, especially Disney inspired things. My brain just goes there. I'll see something and it'll make me think of Disney stuff. So while other people collect pins and all that kind of stuff for the nostalgia, I guess maybe I just create things to you know, for that nostalgia in a different way. You know, we all have our talents, and this is mine. And I love doing it. I didn't think I would like filming the videos and all that kind of stuff. And then during COVID, I did. And it was surprising, you know. I don't have like a lot of followers or anything, and I still just do it for fun. Don't really get sales or anything like that, you know. It's just fun, you know. And I appreciate it when people follow, and it makes me smile that other people see it, other people get it. I'm not alone in that. My brain went to thinking of the Mad Hatter when I saw this teapot, and when they see it, they're like, oh. Yeah, I definitely think having the tea bag underneath the hat is a little better than this one, because this is like this one's a little unwieldy. This one like flops out a little bit more, but this one's still 3D and can be moved, but not gonna flop away. And so I don't think I can adjust it now. I think it's too late, but I'll see if I can adjust it off camera. And so, but yeah, definitely. So cute. But look how cute that is. Oh, and the inside. I just put a white sheet on the inside. Nothing fancy, just a white sheet. 4 inches by 5 1/4. And so that's what I put on the inside. And so it's the boy kitties are sitting right here. So good times. I'll just glue this on the inside because the, you know, shaded spruce, technically you don't have to put anything inside your cards in theory, but I think it makes it look a little bit more finished when you have something white on the inside. That's just my personal opinion. It does add weight to the card though, so you have to be careful, because if your card has too many pieces, then you'll have to add a second. It'll be a, you know, 2 ounces instead of a 1 ounce stamp. So there you go. Hey guys, here's the updated, corrected version of this card. I made sure to change out the label and correct it so it said happy unbirthday instead of the meanest card ever to say unhappy birthday.